Talking with Words.
Hey, welcome back to Talking with Words. You're here with Rob and
Ryan.
and we have a special guest. I'm going to try it. Vadym Medvediuk.
You actually nailed it. Wow. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So thank you for joining us. We appreciate
Thank you
it.
for having me.
And happy birthday yesterday.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
We
Going in
met.
December.
So yeah, we met at the Dallas International Film Festival, and you were showing Good Bad Luck,
My short film, Good Bad Luck. Yes, correct.
and we enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah, it was great.
I enjoyed it. You enjoyed it.
Tell us about how this came about.
It's funny. I keep catching myself on this thought that the film was heavily inspired of like slapstick, old school slapstick French comedies with like Pierre Richard and Louis de Funès, and even like just slapstick genre in general. But I'm a huge fan of Coen brothers,
Oh yeah.
and the fun part about it, I remember I caught myself after packed, wrapped post production on the movie. We're watching like one of the drafts, and I'm like, yeah, let's. I was with my girlfriend Lara. We were like, let's give a little break and maybe watch something else. Let's watch Coen Brothers Fargo. I love that film. I haven't seen it in like a couple of years now, and we started watching it. And at one point, me and her look at each other, and we're like, I'm like, don't say it. Don't. Can I swear? Actually,
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
yeah. I'm like, fuck, nuts. No, subconsciously, I ripped it off. Subconsciously, because again, I think I was reading even before COVID, I was reading this Julia Cameron's book called Sound of Paper, and in that book, it's for writers, but honestly, it's like the book itself, but it honestly kind of teaches a lot of artists. I think it's for artists to um, properly, not bury yourself under deadlines, but to properly open yourself for creative mindset. And like it teaches you this thing called artist dates. So you essentially take yourself out on a date to like museums or galleries or like whatever you desire. And I started doing it more and more. And I went to LA LACMA, LAC Modern Art Museum. There was this exposition of like kind of winter paintings, and there was this painting from that really, now I think about it, I think clicked subconsciously because it's a frame essentially from Fargo, when it's probably going to be spoiler for some people, but in the very end, where the bad guy is running away from Dorothy McDormand. I'm butchering her name. Sorry for that.
Lame cop.
Yeah. Essentially, as he runs away, there's this beautiful white shot of him running out in a field from the wood, and she arrests him. She doesn't. She like stops him, I believe. But I like that the painting I saw in the museum. I just stared at it, and like I started like getting all these pictures and all this like ideas of like having this random strangers um meet up in the wood under craziest circumstance. And essentially that's how like I started kind of playing some ideas, some little short stories that I've been writing, and I'm like, let's just kind of put all of them together and see what happens. And then during COVID, we me and my producer Ksenia Lapo and Vika Safrigina and Raven Krogstad, we like start thinking how to do it, because doing something during COVID was for many reasons difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I hadn't thought of the the Fargo tie-in, but now that you say it, I can't unsee it with the ice and the snow and everything. Uh, it's definitely its own thing. It's way more lighthearted, I would say.
Yeah.
To your point with the slapstick and the goofiness of some of the characters, which I think makes it work better for especially for a short. Uh, the what was it? Doug and
Jimbo.
Jimbo.
Yeah.
Some of their back and forth reminded us of
Tucker and Dale a little bit.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which
Yeah.
they were great doing, just cutting that hard cut from the horrible things that were happening to these guys sneezing beef jerky onto the windshield. That worked really, really well.
Thank you. Yeah.
I thought the actors did a great job also.
It's so funny you mentioning that whole thing. It was a lot of, I don't want to say inspiration, but it was like last second calls, because the very original script we were planning to shoot, it involved a lot of scenes of this. I didn't have that much like driving stuff, and I had this two. They used to be my friends, now I say, but well, one of them still is my friend. But like, I envisioned those two gentlemen, not the one you saw in the picture, but two other people, and they were like my original kind of cast for those characters. And what happened? One of them disappeared like 2 days before we were like out going to location, and I'm like, what's happening? And his friend was trying to reassure me that everything's fine. I'm like, no, actor just disappeared. That's not fine. Like, and I have so many scenes and interactions of these characters with like other characters in the forest. I have to start rewriting everything. And then a day before we heading out, like hours before we heading out, other actor kind of shared his insecurity about not being able to portray the character correctly. And at that point I was like, I'm like already rewriting a lot.
Yeah.
And it's so yeah, it was kind of fortunate, forced upon me. Good bad luck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that works
Yeah.
out. Now, did you use people that you knew when you made this? You obviously based it on some real life stuff.
So in a sense, if use people speaking of inspiration from some for
Or people in the
characters.
industry or actors, because you've worked a lot obviously in this industry.
Yes. So I did take a lot of favors and called a lot of friends of mine. Even I remember I moved to LA like in 2018, I want to say, or something. Just to pursue the industry, the career, my hobby back then, and to kind of get serious about it. Now I think like wherever you are, you can be serious about what you do. It's like if you're fortunate enough. Sorry, there are like cars passing by. But like if you're fortunate enough to find specifically for film, I think find right people, because it's a collaboration. And with this film, I was very fortunate that one of the producers, for instance, Vika Safrigina, she introduced me to a friend of hers who became very good friend of mine right away, because person was amazing, brilliant, and not just a very talented cinematographer, but Halyna Hutchins, and you know, she became a good friend. She helped to pull a lot of favors from other departments, because I did have some friends, not a lot of people. I remember when I was pitching it to some of my friends, not a lot of people were very enthusiastic, mostly because like it's COVID, it's
Yeah.
scary, dangerous. Some people were eager to work, but again, we got very lucky with so many people, even actors who ended up portraying Doug and Jimbo, Ryan and John Connor. Um, they they were like blessing from the sky, or what's the proper American way
Yeah.
to say it, English? Yeah. But getting lucky for most part, and being very fortunate. My producers, they were able to bring a lot of brilliant people as well.
Yeah.
And Raven Krogstad, she was also portraying mother
Right.
mother character, and she also did production design, and like, yeah, she did a lot. And I remember she showed up. She showed up a bit sick, and obviously she tested herself back then. It's very serious, but she's like, "Hey, yeah, I'm kind of sick," and I'm like, "Did you test yourself? How sick are you? Are you sick like you can work sick, or should we like just wrap it up?" But yeah.
So even that with COVID, it seems like you were able to get enough people to want to work. Did you have to fight more people, or did more people want to come out and volunteer because they were just stuck?
Um, a good chunk of people were also hurting, I think, from unemployment back then.
Yeah.
And it's like people just kind of started getting back to work. I remember I was very fortunate to get this gig for myself. Back then, mostly I would do PA gigs a lot, just to be in the industry, to meet this proper people, um, eager to create, eager to work, like-minded people,
Right.
And so I started doing a lot of set PA gigs, and I got COVID PA gig, which was um, kind of policing adults to keep their masks on and
Right.
kind of keep up the logistics of tests and stuff. Um, I think um, I'm not sure if you can hear it, but I'll be pausing sometimes when
No,
loud
you're okay.
vehicles pass by.
It's not picking up
No,
on
we get
our
it.
end.
But I was fortunate to get good people that I worked with, and I didn't have to do much of a policing. And we are humans; we are all adults, and we worked on Star Trek Picard season 2 and 3. Um, so I got uber fortunate with having some employment, because like when things were coming back, it was very slow,
Right.
and so answering your question, I think we did pay for for some people. We actually tried to pay for everyone, even for friends, like at least fraction of what they usually get paid for.
Right.
And because we like, for me, I remember my producers, we it's like in film you usually pull so many favors, and and we try to pull more favors from like different companies, like my producer Ksenia Lapo. She had connections. She used to work for Ari, and she had some connections there, and be honest, she did pull a lot of favors in exchange for us doing stuff for free later on, for us to uh giving them a lot of BTS footage of like car scenes. They were made in Airy Burbank LED wall. I don't know how they call it properly. I don't even know if they have it. I don't think they have it anymore. But it's like right after COVID, when people were like, "Oh my God," more and more productions were like, "Hey, we don't have to kind of take cast and crew and all that and throw it to Iceland, just kind of take someone to Iceland, shoot plates, bring it back here, and let's shoot it in the volume in this like LED
Right.
wall
Just do that in the
experience.
studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were like, I felt so, again, like just getting so much fortune, so many good things happening um to us during pre-production, and getting people agreeing to certain things. But also it was kind of a challenge because as even rewriting the script as we go into the location and trying to figure out, okay, like I cannot do so many things in the forest now because these key characters are out. I need to rewrite them, but then and we have some certain deadlines because we kind of agreed to have to pay for some of the equipment, to borrow some of the equipment, and then we're like, oh, okay, well, I probably should shoot all these cars with like a projector as a backdrop because I'm
Yeah.
kind of pursuing that, kind of older feel to that. I didn't want to sell realism of like, again, that like slapstickish kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
feel of like, yeah, there's blood and bullets, but it's all fine. It's commented like,
So
um,
I did like some of the. Now that you say that, it makes more sense. One of the scenes that stood out a little bit was the crash at the end. You had the way situated. You had branches. Didn't break any windshields. I'm sure those were somebody's cars that they wanted back. We've seen that in movies plenty of times where we want to try and make it look like it was destroyed, but it's in perfect condition. You had branches on the windows and stuff like that, and then you had the other car, the truck, caddy angled up on a tree. It was one of the things that like we would do on our zero budget films, and I was like, yeah, that's perfect. That's the easiest way to get away with it, and it looks great. It looks like they wrecked.
yeah, yeah.
Totally feel that.
Thank you, thank you. A lot of there were a lot of concerns of like positioning cars. I remember we were wasting time, and one point like, why is the car like pivoted this way? Why is it like it should be like looking other way? I'm like, well, it went black. We didn't see. We heard some tires, and we will put some sound into it, but like kind of losing time at that point. And like every day as we were shooting, we did 3 days in the forest, and every day we were just chasing sun because there are like
Right.
so many, you know, um, hills and mountains. We shot in San Diego County, Palomar Mountain, and we were like right on the edge. One day, I will not say the name, but one person, one of the cast members, was kind of like trying to. We were rushing, and that person, that cast member, was like, "Hey, let's not rush. Let's shoot it tomorrow." I'm like, "No, no, no. Like, don't worry about it. We have schedule in our head. Just go back. Let's, thank you, thank you." That person was very helpful. That person, if that person will hear me saying right now, they'll understand. But that person was so helpful, bringing me food a lot of times, bringing me coffee because I wouldn't eat. I was like so caught up on things, um, and I didn't really, pay attention to basic needs. But then there was a little kind of try to, you know, just make things work because the picture would look like we shot one scene in like 3 different days because we were not making schedule with that scene, and the fear was like colorist won't be able to like save
Oh,
it will look so different, and let's move on and we'll shoot it tomorrow. And I'm like, we cannot shoot it tomorrow we have to shoot another thing that we couldn't shoot today, and like please get back and please let's do it because we all want to go to sleep. And we were trying to also, do not well shorter days if possible, but at least 12-hour, and we got in there like it's cold. We're in mountains. Bunch of people from California are there. Some of them maybe never seen snow, and they're like, "Oh my god, what is this thing?" But in reality, yeah, it was tough on everyone. Even like carrying equipment, we didn't realize when snow melts, all the soil it gets,
Oh yeah.
dirty, and people could not even walk with equipment, and we're like, oh no, we need to move faster. But it was a fun shit show. But again, people just supporting each other, helped us through.
Yeah, that's awesome when filmmakers and the people that love this stuff come together, and you can really feel it with some of them. You know,
Yeah.
what was the first shot you took with this? Like the opening shot of the film with the I was calling him a woodsman at first, but he was really stopping the poachers, is what I like, gathered from it. When he's coming down that mountain, that's a beautiful shot. I like that a lot. Where did you guys start at when you took this project on?
So that opening shot, it was actually the very last shot
Was it?
of we were not even making it. Like okay, I'll be honest, I gave up at that point. I was like, okay, let's just go home. We're like almost past 12 hours. Everyone's done with this. Like people want to go home. And Halyna, cinematographer, she was like, are you crazy? No, don't give up. Don't let them see you giving up, man. Come on, let's shoot it. And it was fun because yeah, that's the very last thing we shot. And David was portraying this woodsman. David, it's funny, his last name's David Hunter. And I'm like, well, you're opposite from Hunter. You're actually, you're kind of pro um pro nature, and poachers, all those guys. You don't like them. So, but I even remember real quick, when we were casting, because we did cast through Mitch Ross was our casting director. We casted, I want to say like four people with Mitch, and the rest three or maybe five. I not 100% sure. But when we were casting someone for like this woodsman, lumberjack dude part, usually you give like something for actors, like a page with something you want to see them do. But I kind of told them two things. Like first thing, I want you guys to recreate something from like Axe Effect, the other end kind of.
Oh,
There was this dude on a horse and like doing cool stuff. So I envisioned that dude, and then I was like, just kind of stupid to say that, but like surprise me with something, like whatever you want to like read a poem. And uh and 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 I also felt very bad because like not very bad. I don't know what's the proper word to describe it, but David prepared like amazing poem that he wrote himself, and it was like so beautiful. I still have that Zoom call recorded because we did it through Zoom because COVID again.
right.
But it was so beautiful, so amazing, and I'm like, ah. And the whole part is like there was more to that character in the beginning, but we had to cut out so much stuff again because hunters didn't really work out well.
Yeah.
Actors couldn't show up, and but it ended up being so short and so little, and I was like trying to pack as much symbolism as possible. And I remember I also watched P.T. Anderson, There Will Be Blood,
Oh yeah.
and that opening of the whole like what 10-15 minutes, like
Yeah.
no real dialogue, but just like such a, you see the character, you see what he's going through, and like the world building. It was brilliant for me. So I did a pathetic attempt to get at least as close as possible to that. For me, I'm like, oh my god, that's brilliant. But that was the very last thing we shot in a forest, and then the very first thing we shot in a forest was where Brandon, who was playing the dude from Enway
Yeah.
company in a blue, in his like blue uniform, blue suit, uh, as he just walks down the road, and car with mother and son is passing by. That's what we shot first, but I remember he came from like makeup and wardrobe, and the his costume is clean. I'm like, it should be dirty. It should be dirty. I'm like, take it off. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, take it off. Take off your pants, take off the jacket. And we're outside, it's cold. And he's
Yeah.
looking at me, are you crazy? And I'm in jacket, I'm taking off my stuff, and I'm putting his stuff on me. He's like, well, what is happening, man? And I'm like, it needs to be dirty. He's like, you could have told me I would like lay down. I'm like, no, are you crazy? No. And I started just like playing in dirt, like putting dirt on me. And crew and some people are looking, well, what is happening? I think producer Xenia, she might have some pictures of that and some videos. She's like, what the hell are you doing? But that was the good start for the whole project, you know.
That's a good one. Have your leader rolling around in the dirt.
Yeah,
That's how you do it.
that was fun. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now I've got a couple more I want to talk about on Good Bad Luck real quick here. The husband that was there to kill our Amway salesman, was he a bigger character, or did you get what you wanted out of that character? Because I mean, that was your main thread the whole time, and he crushed it.
Yeah, I think I got like Josh was portraying that character, and I think when I saw Josh's self tape, because we asked some actors, some characters, well, for some particular character to send a self tape, and then we'll like go through a second caller. He nailed it so great. But when I saw his self tape, I was like, that's it. That's him for sure. We did have like kind of a second call, but he was so character like better than I envisioned, and like, to be honest, we had him kind of trying to speak like not English,
Yeah.
and that's a little bit long story too, because real quick about that, I'm Ukrainian, and our cast and crew mostly was American, a bit of Ukrainian and Russian. There were some Russian and Ukrainian folks, and we were shooting it way before the full scale war in Ukraine from Russian side broke down. And when the film was going through post production, I think we were done with shooting at that point. Originally, the character, I was trying to puzzle him rather from Moldova, rather Ukrainian, but then like, I don't want him to be Ukrainian. Then like maybe Russian, so maybe let's give him a couple of Russian lines. And we had to cut all of them out,
Yeah.
but we had him like kind of speaking a bit of Russian. And I even remember working with Josh on that. He was like, okay, just record me all the sentences, all these words, and like just break it down slow, fast, normal speed. Just like, I need to listen to something. So I would like send him those voice messages, and it never ended up. He nailed it, not 100% obviously, and I got a lot of criticism from a lot of my friends when they were seeing previous cuts. They were like, a lot of Hollywood films, they're like, they put some non-native speakers, and those no not native speakers kind of butcher the language. I'm like, yeah, but that's a comedy. They're not even driving in a real car. You can see it's like a projection, well, LED wall in the back. But like, what do you expect? Like, come on, man. Um, but yeah, Josh did phenomenal, just phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah, he did great, and I liked the whoever did the makeup on his face from the gunshot. That looked awesome.
Yeah, it was like the whole prosthetics. It it's also funny because original person who was supposed to do prosthetics, uh, twisted ankle or broke her foot, and it happened like a few days before
Oh wow.
we had to go, and we were essentially, I thought we were screwed, but she had someone to like substitute her, and I'm blacking out with the name. I'm remembering only last name. I believe it's Sanchez, but yeah, I cannot, like, our makeup person did phenomenal job. Yeah.
Hold on a second, we're freezing up. Okay, there we go.
Oh, might be me. Might be me.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, no, it looked great. I thought it looked really well done. For again, I mean, you've got so much time here when you're doing a short to sell everything, and that's something you did really well with this one, I think. Anything else on bad luck? Good bad luck.
No, you said you filmed it in Burbank. Or right
So
outside Burbank County
location was San Diego County,
or San Diego.
Palomar Mountain, and drive-in was in Burbank.
Okay, and it was 3 days for filming. 3
For
long
location.
days
In the
For,
woods.
on
yeah,
location.
for location, because and again, back to like saying how fortunate we would get. We anticipated 3 days for more stuff. We had a lot of filming inside the hut. We had a lot of interior. We shot, and again, like, script was changing so fast. I couldn't even like keep up with, like, okay, so were we filming? Are we still filming that? No, because actors are not there. And we had to dress two PAs, my good friends, Max and Misha, best friends from childhood. Right now I live in one of those guys flat in LA, but we had to dress them in like kind of hunters, whatever, poachers outfits, and just like turn them away from in the car. They're like just. We also, I think, shot them kind of stepping out of but it wasn't selling well. But yeah, we anticipated way more for those 3 days, and I think we got fortunate that actors canceled, and we had to like just flip it all upside down and refigure it out how and what we're gonna be shooting in the forest. And it made me very nervous, and it was like first big huge serious project for me, because before I had some short films, videos kind of I
Right.
was doing with friends, just grab camera and go and do something. But this was like very serious, and I'm like, I'm screwed. I don't even know what we're shooting at this point. I don't know what to do.
Which another one, like I think the shot that probably is my favorite in this is they named the kid that runs off and takes his vest off.
Look, Benny Benjamin in
Yeah.
the character.
The shot where it's a wide far shot and he gets shot, and just him turning, shot, fall, that sequence is awesome. That's a great.
Yeah, Luke Crory, he portrayed that character. He did fantastic, and I'm sad to realize I cut so much of his sequences. I had all Pinocchio kind of storyline going with him. He had this like toy cricket, and he has like some mental challenges. There was like way more to his character, and certain things were like a bit more explained. But again, since there were so many random chaotic rewrites,
Yeah.
as we got certain cricket moments with him, talking to him, and like we would like do the trick of like him carrying toy cricket, but at one point it like was a real cricket.
Yeah.
We brought like dozens of real crickets, and uh yeah, they not all of them came back. I'm sad to realize that too. But yeah, with like just a lot of things didn't make sense, and it felt too long. I remember someone was even like, "You can just shoot the whole feature at this point. Just like finish shooting something else later. Just write something that they're in a city and like make things." But like the amount of money for certain things, it was choking. I'm like, oh my god, no, I cannot
Yeah.
pull that favor. I don't have money. I'm just a PA. I'm like, come on.
It turned out really well for, I mean, 3 days in the woods and a studio shoot. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Thank
now
you.
you've and I wanted to get my timeline right because you filmed this during COVID and we saw it last year.
No, that was earlier this year in
This year.
April at Diff 2024.
So it was
I mean,
this
that
year we
just 6
saw it.
months ago, 7 months ago.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
And so I was going through some of your work that you're doing. You've now been on like the Penguin, Fallout, and Star Trek. So you're busy.
I wish I was busier. I do get a lot of luck working in different departments. Um, I wish I was busier. Honestly, the state of the industry in the country, not only in like California, because for some time when we met, I was living in New York,
Right.
and hustling in New York. But then I had to move for multiple reasons, some personal, some due to work, back to LA, and industry is stalling. I'm part of 695 local in LA. It's a sound and video engineering, and industry is hurting, for a lot of reasons. For a lot of reasons, I'm probably not a good source even to like. You might know even more than I do, but
You're in it. You're living it.
it's, it's like, the as a healthy good tool AI is. I have. I'm trying to kind of embrace it. I haven't used it properly for my work. Just creating like pitch decks. Sometimes I cannot find the picture that I really need, and then I spend a couple of days trying to like just learn Photoshop and create it yourself. But I like try to put words, describe what I want, and sometimes it just rejects. Like it doesn't, like, now it's probably better. I haven't used it in a while, but the point about AI for me, I think, is I lost a couple of gigs, couple of commercials that I could like direct, or kind of co-write or write, and it's because they're like, oh, we actually figured it out. We used like this AI, and like it works for us. Why pay money for you if we can pay like what, $20 a month for Chat GPT on
Right.
steroids to create us something. And I guess I guess it's helpful for some people. Some people are like saving money, some people losing job. I think a lot of people might have lost job. Like, there was in commercial, I was like AD, assistant director, and we kind of like shot, the whole production was done. For the production, director obviously sent a mock-up. He created a AI mock-up with like little voiceover and little almost animation AI mock-up, and they loved it. And we shot it. We presented like material, I believe, and they're like, "Oh no, we like the previous version a bit more." And we're like, "What? But we cannot even use that." we don't think we can use that. There's like this whole copyright, but like no, we shot, we brought the crew. We're like, can you kind of like make it somehow more like that, and like your AI mock-up, and they're like, wow. And yeah, if you've seen Coca-Cola AI commercial,
Yeah.
it's like yeah, a lot of creators are doing that, and it's again, I think it's a great tool, and it's helpful for a lot of people. But I myself had did hurt a little bit from like losing some gigs. I just need to become better than AI, one day. And also the strikes,
Yeah.
deep strikes, that they kind of pause it. They slowed down. Well, they absolutely stalled the industry in the country basically. And then after strikes, it was still like someone. It feels like someone learning how to drive stick shift. Like you kind of drive, but you stall every 5 feet. Um,
I like
and
that
then
analogy.
yeah, and then a lot of productions are like, oh, why we shoot it in, I don't know, again, like LA. Well, they started at first like going to other states from LA and from New York and from even Atlanta, from these big hubs to like smaller towns, other states with sometimes better incentives and more welcoming people. Because like sometimes working in New York or LA, you get like crazy people like just charging at you and like, get out of here! Like you don't belong in here. And you're like, yeah, but that's my job. I try to pay the bill with it's a fortunate, it's very often it's fortunate, insane amazing job to do. It's very demanding, very hard, depending on the department you're working in. um and but most department, like the hours are insane. It's a difficult profession, but it's rewarding, it's great. I wish it was sometimes more safer, because even now very often I see very unsafe uh, execution of certain, even simplest things. Sometimes like as simple as grip department having like 20 by 20 frame with some material in it. Let's say as simple as duvetine, just to black something out.
Right.
And gusts of wind, we're outside, we're shooting exterior, and sometimes uh, there's no tie, a proper way to make it a bit safer, as safe as possible. Sometimes I would see like people not doing that, and I'm like, come on, guys, like this can kill someone. And that's I don't really want to talk too much on that topic, to be honest, but Halyna Hutchins, we lost
Right.
dear friend, we lost uber talented cinematographer, and truly, honestly, beautiful person. Um, as little as I knew her, I basically didn't even know her for a full year, but I felt like it's my sister, my auntie. It was such a warm and brilliant, beautiful person, and losing it to accident on set, and
Right.
and like and and her family, her kid lost the mother, and it just shouldn't be like that. It's truly heartbroken. Words cannot really describe
Yeah.
how fucked up it is.
Yeah. And we don't, I think it's a good thing to mention. We don't have to talk about it. I know that's still fresh. But to your point, the safety in it, and for those who don't know what he was talking about, is there's these large panels that they have around when they're shooting film. And I mean, I think that stuff needs to be addressed where it's not. I've worked on plenty where it's the other way. It's too safe. You can't walk down a hallway without wearing a helmet, kind of stuff. Uh, it's just the production. But I do think that is one of those things that we need to talk about. Same with, I'm glad you brought up AI. Like AI as a writer terrifies me because how long until they have my books in their AI and they don't need me anymore and they can write my style, you know. Film's even easier. You just put a prompt in and you've got a video. It's scary, but there are people that are, especially in the industry, the film and art industry, that are trying to keep that in check, which I like. I know. I mean, I use it for sending my friends dumb shit, or if I have an idea that I can't quite figure out, I'll put it in and see what it says and see if it sparks something. Like you were talking about going to the museum. That's kind of how I use AI, but I'm too scared of it to really mess with it too much as a writer. I don't want to have a point where I don't know where it ends and I start when I'm writing. And I'm sure it's the same way in film and everything else. You're talking about commercials that are just 100% generated by a computer. That's jobs for sure.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
what are you doing next, or what are you doing now? Are you working on a project now?
So I'm pretty much waiting for 2025. I did come back a couple months ago to LA. I did get a couple of gigs. I did something just for fun. Me and my cousin, who's actually waiting for me in a coffee shop somewhere there, somewhere behind that window, but she's on her phone. This generation Z, they're just like, but just holidays. Uh, Touching base with my friends, some of my family that are fortunately got to come here, move here to United States. No, what about you guys? What are you up to?
You're our last interview for the year,
Yeah.
so thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
We've had a really good year with our podcast, and I've got a book hopefully in the works for next year, and Ryan's got a film we're still editing.
Yeah,
Uh,
we're running a little behind on this one on our low to no budget short that I wrote.
We do
Sure.
our
Probably a
shoots in
year ago.
house, so we shoot it, we star in it, we edit it. It's
Oh yeah.
it's a growing process, but we want to learn everything before we try and take the next step in our filmmaking. So we're trying to do all the pieces ourselves first.
Most of our team works for rounds of drinks and lunches right now. So
Hell yeah. And I remember it was you guys do sci-fi-ish,
I've got
sci-fi
most of my stuff is sci-fi and horror, yeah,
and
and
horror. Yeah.
more suspense.
mine's more action, horror, suspense type stuff.
Oh, I love that stuff. It like for me, it's for some reason always feels so hard to do that. Like that's also one of the reasons I said I wanted to do slapstick-ish kind of comedy. No, I was afraid to do real stuff really as well. Like, no, maybe let's do it more slapstick so people don't see mistakes or something. I'm so insecure, So,
I
but
look at like what you did. It's horror, and we've talked about this many times. Horror and comedy are the opposite sides of the same coin. It's all about timing. So if you can make comedy work, I mean, I think personally that's harder than horror. So you're good. You've got your timing. It works. So
yeah, thank you.
I'd like to see what you would do with a horror or a sci-fi, idea. I think
Hmm.
it's fun.
It brings me to one of my friends who's like developing a little horror sci-fi story. And now I think about it, he's developing it, so I'm like, don't say a word about it, because oh yeah, I'll get in trouble. And it's on tape. Oh no, yeah. But it's very intriguing combination for me, honestly. So
Yeah, it's fun.
yeah,
Really fun. I don't want to take any more of your time. We've had you for an hour. You got your cousin waiting on you. Can we reach back out to you next year and check back in, see what you've got going on? We'd love to stay in touch.
please. Yeah, absolutely. And please send me your stuff. I matter of fact, I'm working on I'm writing a script and I'm like going through the third draft right now. And I honestly would even love to hear your thoughts on it. And it's very I'm like going not very opposite direction, but I'm really going into drama, and I'm trying to have um, it's a little biopic almost on some of my friends and parts of my experience with when my mom came from Ukraine. There was this still, I believe, active program called United for Ukraine, and I was able to bring my mom here. Like I haven't seen her in over 8 years at that time,
Oh
and
wow.
Wow.
I was finally able to see her, and we had some experience. She stayed for a couple of months, and it was beautiful, to see your parent, to see your mom. I miss her so much. But also, to be fair, there's not always flowers and
Yeah.
great stuff. There was some stuff, that clicked from the past that like I'm adult man now, and I'm getting to meet my mother, but certain things, let's say in the kitchen, I would prefer to do a certain way. And she's like, "Oh no, that's not how it's done." I'm like, "What? That's how I do it now. So don't touch my things." So I'm steering more into certain experiences of my friends, and trying to write this almost three-angle story, three perspectives, like perspective of I cannot even call him protagonist, but it's essentially my main protagonist. I open with his life, and then point of view of the mother on certain events, and it's like not the same events, but it's like continuation of this couple of days, and maybe jumping a little bit in timeline. I shouldn't really even dig too deep into this right now and bore you with details, but I'm kind of trying to make the uh what's a good reference, past lives meets Call Me by Your Name meets one of the Terrence Malick movies with
Okay. Yeah.
his poetic philosophy. But I'm also trying to stay more grounded, like with that poetic philosophy, to like, no, actually, let's hear what they're really talking, not just like random whispers behind it,
Right.
whatever. So yeah, I'd love you guys to check it out, and I'd love to see your stuff.
Yeah. If you want to
Oh,
extra pair of
absolutely.
eyes, we'd be happy to do that. That'd be great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Uh, anything else?
I don't think so.
Well, tell
I
your
think we covered a
cousin
lot.
we said hi,
I will.
and
Yeah.
we wish you all the best, and we will check back in on you next year. I'll include whatever you want on this. Send it to me, and I'll include all of that when we post it. Um, and thank you so much for doing this, man. This was great. We wanted to catch back up with you.
Thank you.
Glad you're staying mostly busy.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, likewise. I hope you guys have great holidays, and thank you very much for having me. And I'm really intrigued to see your stuff. And Rob, Ryan, thank you very much.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And
Happy late birthday.
Thank you.
we'll send you a link when everything's ready to post.
Absolutely. Looking forward.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Have a good
right.
have a good rest of your year.
Thank you, you two guys. Happy holidays.
Are we recording?